This is Amanda Sapata coming at you from Comms vNext here in Denver, Colorado. I'm with Partner IQ team and Scott Rendell from Microsoft. We're going to do some introductions and then get right into it. Max?
Thanks, Amanda. I'm Max Beeh. I'm Partner IQ's co-founder and managing partner, along with Justin.
Yep, Justin Stevens, also managing partner and co-founder at Partner IQ. Real happy to talk today with Scott Rendell.
And rounding it out, I'm Scott Rendell, Partner Solutions Architect this year, anyway.
It'll change in
Yeah,
a couple months.
At least till June.
Yeah, it's 11:46, so by noon it'll probably change again. So.
Yeah.
No, happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're going to be talking a little bit more about day two, right? So, Justin, do you want to kind of set the stage there?
Yeah, we talked a moment ago about day two management with Ribbon.
Right.
Now we're going to get Microsoft's perspective, but I think one of the underserved topics, and certainly the thing that we're hearing across the board when we're out with the larger customer side of the community, is I've bought it, I've deployed it, now what? I didn't really think about day two management, and there's a lot of challenges for that. And when we spoke with Scott earlier, some really great conversations kind of evolved out of that discussion. So
Yeah, you're right. Everybody puts so much emphasis into the planning and what's going to happen on the cutover that they forget that, oh yeah, we have to run a business now, and what are we doing with that on the next day? How do we remediate issues that will ultimately come up, stuff that got missed and was never thought of, or just things like that people are like, okay, finally take a breath, and then, oh crap, we forgot. So for example, analog paging systems.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
After Teams is deployed, we're like, oh, right, how do we integrate with analog paging systems? Stuff like that people don't really think of.
And you and your team are fielding those calls.
Yes, of course, yeah.
That panic
We are-
of, uh-oh.
1-800-DIAL-SCOTT. So,
But that's a great point. I mean, sometimes there's corner pocket solutions of these oddities that are wired into the analog systems. There's hotshot dialers. There's overhead paging. We didn't really even think about the migration of that, and
yeah.
it can be supported. It can be migrated. There's those aspects. There's Teams room systems now, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Very, very hot topic of managing your Teams rooms endpoints, managing quality, although the codecs have certainly improved drastically.
Definitely.
We're not fielding as many quality calls, but endpoint devices, there's a lot of infrastructure as a service owner that you now have to manage and think about.
Well, and that's where partners are such a strong influence on the Teams ecosystem when it comes to deploying and working with our mutual customers. They, through discovery process, because they've done this over, it's a rinse and repeat thing, that customers don't go through, right? They don't think of Teams every day and how are we going to deploy where. That's what our partners are out there doing, right? So these discovery sessions are very, very important because they draw out all that kind of information so that, hopefully day two is a lot lighter than what some people that do it on their own would.
I'd imagine that education is just ongoing.
It's a great point for those who follow Tom Talks and Tom Armstrong and Empowering Cloud. There's a whole segment there of what do I need to know, what's coming,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the power that you get with Teams and Copilot is substantially different than traditional TDM PBXs, right? And with that power comes responsibility, I suppose, right? And that responsibility being there's constant change in the network, right? There's always new things coming from the cloud, and staying on top of that requires some savviness. Certainly Empowering Cloud helps us with a lot of that capability, but right there, I don't know if you have thoughts there, Scott, on managing all that information coming at you continually as a service owner. How do you do that?
Yeah, so again, this is where our partners have thought of this. They've created solutions around it, and there's just some amazing things that and I don't know everything, but some of this stuff just blew me away, right? You've got all the various ribbons with their analytics, right? Looking holistically at your entire organization versus maybe just a meeting or two where Copilot's really focused on that client thing. We're now looking at organizational level and saying, oh, we didn't plan for this, or we didn't expect that that X amount of users were going to call in from a site, right? For like a town hall. So an ECDN probably would have been the better way to go. We talked about that a little earlier. So things like this. So again, all back to that discovery, so that day two is a lot better than it might have been.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that. You said it earlier, a pound of prevention.
Ounce of right. We figured it out. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So,
but that planning stage, planning stage really doesn't ever end, right? There's always this kind of, hey, what do we need to be thinking about, because there's going to be changes coming, changes to improve, and that constant flex. But a lot of this sounds scary at first. Of gosh, do I really want to do this migration? Look at all these things that I'm going to have to manage. And I think what we're seeing is the evolution from partners that provide the simplification needed, so this isn't daunting anymore. It is manageable, it is serviceable, it is something that you can put in your network and not have to.
We're finding that
stress.
it's got to be reasonable at a technology level as well as reasonable at a business level.
Right.
Right. So the executive team has got to be able to digest what the project looks like. What's the scope? What's the investment look like? And then give the go ahead.
Yeah.
But sometimes because it's so daunting and has been so daunting in the past, there becomes a choke point. So I would imagine Microsoft kind of helps those organizations through that difficult time.
We've got a whole CSU organization, right?
Yeah.
Customer Success Unit that really supports day two and then going forward. And tons of partners that do the same thing. Don't get me wrong; it's not all just about Microsoft. But what's interesting is, I think the real challenge, not from a technology standpoint, but from a personal standpoint, is what's sustainable, right? How much change can a person actually absorb in a given amount of time? And you hear us talk a lot about, that's why pilots are very important, and the evangelism. So think of when we first started talking about teams, right? It was an organic thing. We said, let's get it in there to a few people, these power users, and let them kind of self-evangelize within their smaller pockets, and then starting to let it grow. And I think that's a good methodology to work with, no matter what whether it's Copilot or Teams or what have you. So it's really a total package. So it starts with discovery. It's and then day two, it's all about change management and getting these people comfortable with the product. And there's Teams is really daunting, right? When you think about it, it's such a big product. I mean, we call it a single pane of glass. Think of all the work you do in a day: spreadsheets, Word documents, emails, all that, and then now you get this whole new single pane of glass, that you're supposed to be working in collaboratively with individuals. It's just, it really takes a partner that does this on a regular basis, that understands the nuances and understands what the pitfalls can be, and can really, figuratively talk them off the cliff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to customers like,
Well, balancing it, right?
Right.
We have SMB customers who, at face value, seem very complex, but it's almost fire and forget for them, right? They turn it on and it's, look, we don't do a lot of the complexities that a large enterprise does, and things just work. There's not a lot of maintenance, but on the other side, there's the large enterprise, and there's a lot to be done there, and there's a lot of day-to-day orchestration. But I don't know that it would be possible, but I think what we're seeing with all this automation now, it's feasible, right? And adjusting that plan to how much of it do I really want to manage for the trade-offs of the benefits that I'm receiving.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of our partners now are making it easier for customers to just go to the marketplace,
Right.
and pick up some of those offerings. And there's a danger to that, right? And we talked a little bit about this before, that you get somebody that goes in there and says, oh, this will provision everything for me, done, I'll do it, but they don't consider everything, right? So
There has to be some
Wouldn't it be great if there was a consultant that would help them through that process?
imagine, wouldn't
Oh,
that
well.
name coming to me?
Going back to that sales pitch
You've
now.
actually hit on something, though, there that's it's almost like near and dear to my heart, as we consult with partners, right, and kind of give guidance of, well, where do I start? I want access to leads. I need to get my Microsoft practice established. What's the stake? And generally, after we go through some of the blueprint and strategy session, we start talking about marketplace. And I don't know if you want to kind of just give focus there. We can't emphasize enough that the criticality of marketplace and the value that gives you as a partner, and I guess credibility maybe would be the right word, of when you go back to the Microsoft field sales organization and start working with the customers. What does marketplace really mean?
So, the word marketplace means a couple of different things inside of Microsoft. So you've got the Azure Marketplace, where you can put offers and people can self-serve. And then you've got this App Source Marketplace, where partners like yourself or other partners can publish so that Microsoft sellers can see that information. And it's a whole process. And it can be quite daunting, to be perfectly honest, because a lot of people don't understand it. Like, all right, I've got this thing I can do. I'm really good with, a widget for Teams. Right, but how do I get that inside of Microsoft? Well, you've got to find somebody at Microsoft, then you've got to go through the whole process. You've got to make it valid. You've got to make it, I hate this term, but sticky. You've got to figure out a way to get it in and get people to recognize it. I mean, there really is kind of a whole unwritten methodology sorry for using that word, behind what it takes to get quote unquote noticed.
Yeah.
We wouldn't exist if, if it was that simple.
That easy.
we
Just
wouldn't
serve that up
exist.
to you guys, by the way.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
appreciate
But-
that. No, and we're hearing from customers here at the show that are like, listen, we just don't have we've ticked all the boxes, we've done all the right things. We're not our Microsoft practice is flawed. How do we
Well, we'd like bigger benefits. Now, how do we mature? We've done all the academic principles,
Right.
we've followed everything on the websites, and sometimes there's more to it than that. Right?
Yeah,
And then
right.
that's where the help
And-
is. But the first piece of guidance is let's start with marketplace. This
Yeah.
is going to be your core KPI. The first place you're going to be measured on for your success is, are you in marketplace? Are you transactable? Are you IP co-sell eligible?
You've heard that time and time again from Microsoft.
Right, well, and
folks.
then
It's
you-
like, well, tell us. Well, are they ready? Are
Yeah.
they in marketplace? Are they transactional?
Great example, right?
Yeah.
When Microsoft approaches us, of the partners we're working with, well, where are they in their journey? Are they transactable? Are
Right,
they
yeah.
IP co-sell eligible? And if that answer's no, guys, you got some homework, go help. And this is where the delays in the
Yeah.
process start of how long might that take? 3 months, 6
Well,
months?
and you
9
know,
months?
and it all starts in Partner Center.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, and I think a lot of partners go. I think a lot of partners go. Partner Center.
What's a partner center?
Yeah. What I mean, and then they get in there and they're like, oh my God, look at all this stuff. What am I supposed to do? So there really almost needs to be, somebody that could help them with Partner Center. If there's only somebody.
How does that work?
Partner IQ Center. Did
Oh,
we
yeah, no, there we
go.
Did,
Oh,
we,
oh, oh.
did we misname the company, Justin?
Well,
No.
But acting as that Rosetta Stone, that translator of, we understand what you've heard, let us give you some guidance to get through that, and again, simplify your journey to the success that you're looking for in terms of impacting field and working with customers and getting the growth. And we all benefit, right? At the end of the day, we do this right, we all elevate, and the 300 some odd million seats that are out there, we elevate them to E5, we turn on voice, we get through this phase. And the great thing, I think, Scott, one of the things we talked about is as we complete that journey, we've now set the foundations for AI.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But it really takes partners like yourself to help walk them through and kind of understand where this is going, and then it obviously opens up some value add for you guys. So I think it's great that you guys have found this niche because it's definitely needed.
Right. Right.
I mean, I hear it almost daily. How do I get closer to Microsoft? I'm like, well, talk to Justin and Max, and
Yeah.
and they'll get you.
It's interesting. I mean,
over
we
there.
had a conversation this morning with a company that's outside of the U.S., and they're doing fantastic business in their country, but they're like, well, there's only a couple of us here in the U.S. We don't know anybody at Microsoft. How do we get involved? And I know you have a session this afternoon on user groups.
Oh, the team
But
user group. Yeah.
That was one of the things that I recommended to them. I was like, well, where do you live? Well, I live in Southwest. Okay. Do you know about the user groups
Right.
that you can attend?
Got to attend the user.
So yeah, and
But
it's,
this is a core philosophy or principle. To be relevant, you have to show up.
yeah,
Yeah. And
You-
networking,
You have
right?
to provide value, and you have to be visible, and you have to have consistency in that visibility. And the user group's a great place to start to build that bridge.
Well, and the next point I was going to make about AppSource and all that is, and we've seen this. People think I know how to market my own product, and you probably do, and you're probably really good, maybe in your niche, but that doesn't mean you're using the right verbiage, the right methodologies behind sparking a seller from Microsoft to do it. And one of the things I tell partners all the time is you need to be very, very specific about what your offer is.
Man, yeah.
Right? A lot of people say, no, I want to keep it nice and broad because we can do all of it. I'm like, that's fine, okay, but our sellers are looking for specifics because they work in verticals. They want to know that it's healthcare or manufacturing or
Yeah.
retail or whatever. And there are specific words, unfortunately, that you have to use. I say this all the time, words have meaning. So you have to use the right ones, right? Use your right words. Where'd that come from? I don't know.
I love the emphasis there of definitively describe what it is you're solving for. And you're really describing the move away from traditional selling to value-based
Yep.
selling of what. Tell me definitively
Yeah.
what you do and what's the value for solving
there's the
that
thought
thing.
of let's go gobble up as much business as we can, and
Can't be a generalist.
right.
Yeah.
But what
No,
we
not
talk
today's day and age. You can't.
superpowers.
Yeah.
What is your superpower?
Yeah.
This is great.
Well, this has been fun. Thank you, guys. I really-
Yeah.
Enjoyed this.
and look forward to seeing you at user groups in the future.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
We'll come to
Same.
New York
Your
City
face.
and And
Shameless plug for the team's user group.
shameless plug for the Teams user group in New York City, run by Scott, and he brings desserts. So
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, wait, what kind of dessert?
Magnolia Bakery.
was it the lemon?
Okay.
It was a lemon thing.
You like the
I'll
lemon
be there.
bars?
Yeah.
It's
Actually,
not as good
they-
as Detroit because we have Detroit pizza at our user group.
I
dessert.
don't know.
No, that's
I'll
not
take
dessert,
lemon
though.
bars
It's
and
kinda like
cupcakes.
dessert.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Thanks
No,
for
I don't
making
think
it
I
fun.
can say
They
the name
serve
of the
whipped
ba-
cream on top of the pizza in
I don't
Detroit.
think I can say the name of the bakery, but they have this. What is it? Banana pudding. That's really.
Oh,
That's what I had.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I
Okay.
had.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have to talk about this. Okay. Thanks so much for
Anyway,
joining us.
hey, let's go eat it.
Right.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's
serving
lunchtime,
lunch.
too.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
right, thanks.
It's fun. Thank you.